thing going up on the PMRC with Frank Zappa talking about music. How did that all come about? Because it really did make a difference.
You know, in 1984, Twisted Sister was breaking wide open, and there was, you know, when you're in your 20s and you're touring in a rock band, you're not watching the nightly news. You know, you're not paying attention, but we still heard, oh, there's some organization that's protesting rock music and wants to rate records and things like that. And, you know, we were just, I got arrested, was getting arrested in Texas for disorderly conduct and profanity and things like that, but it was the time. You know, it was a Reagan era. So it wasn't completely shocking. But then it just got to be a bigger and bigger thing. And quite honestly, I've been asked this a lot. I remember my management saying, we got a call, I don't know from who, asking if you would consider coming to Washington to testify, having a hearing on rating rock records. So I was like, hell yeah. I viewed it as carrying the flag into battle. And I was sure that the hordes of rockers would be behind me, and every band would be behind me, and I would just be leading the way. Didn't turn out to be that type of event, but no regrets in doing it. It was definitely not a positive thing for my career at the time. I mean, as the years went on, the respect I get and what it did for me, for as perception people have of me, it really changed. It was the first time it started to change the way people think about me. So after Twisted went and started working in voiceover and acting and movies and radio, it was that event where people said, well, I saw him speak, and he's just not a blithering idiot like some rock stars. He's, he can conjugate a verb and put a sentence together, but that led to a lot of things. But at the time, afterwards, my mail was checked, my packages were checked, my phones were tapped. Shows were getting protested and banned and things like that. It wasn't a smart idea short term for the band and for me, but no regrets long term. And the level of appreciation that I see every day now, people come up to me and shake my hand and just say, thank you for standing up and saying something, so thanks for appreciating it.
Like I'm saying, those videos are still, they're still on YouTube. They still mean something, and there's still so many people watching those. So a long-lasting effect it really had.
Well, it is a part of history. If there's a course on censorship, if there's anything on censorship, that is a moment in time that that people remember and people talk about, and it's taught in schools. And it's great to see so many young people who are, thanks to social media, thanks to YouTube and things like that, are going back and watching these things. And first of all, learning about it, realizing this is a thing that hasn't gone away. This isn't just the beginning of censorship. Censorship's been an issue since the beginning of time. And that it was an important moment, and if we don't learn from our mistakes, history teaches us not to make the same mistakes again. So fortunately, it's out there for people to learn about, hear, read, listen, all those things.
It's because it does come out from the heart too, which is really nice.
On the what?
It comes from the heart.
Oh, well, yeah, that's the thing that completely threw them for a loop, the senators and Congress people, is that besides that I spoke English fluently, they really thought I was going there like, they looked at my picture and said, oh, this guy's going to be a laugh riot. Let's get him in front of the Senate. They did not read anything about me. So they couldn't have been more stunned when they found out that I didn't drink. I didn't get high. I was married. I had kids. I was, that I was reasonably intelligent. They were not ready for that. But that worked for our side. They really got an earful. They much would have rather had one of my peers, who shall remain nameless. I told my wife I would stop being an asshole and talking about people by name. I hear you, baby. I'm learning. Anyway, but there are other people who would have gone up there and gone. So I didn't.
So yeah, let's switch gears. You branched